Hello and welcome to your 9 p.m. daily quiz. I hope all of you are doing good. I welcome you all to this session where we discuss the most important and relevant stories from the prelims examination point of view that have appeared in the newspapers, convert them into prelim specific questions, and then discuss them. If you're new here, I request you to do hit the subscribe button. It's the beginning of a new month, and I really hope that you have made it a habit to catch on all these classes. If not, you can refer to the playlist on my YouTube channel and you can watch the earlier videos as well. Also, if you're not aware, I also have an Android app called Harshmeet Study Circle. The link again is in the description of the video. On that app, you can find a lot of different courses that I offer, including the PSIR test series, the PSIR optional live classes, personal programs, personal guidance programs for prelims, mains, answer writing, etc. You can check them out as well. Let's begin with the first question then. Agent Orange, recently in the news, is related to which of the following wars? Ukraine Russia war, Israel Hamas conflict, the Afghanistan war, or the Vietnam war? Agent Orange. Now, if you have been a history buff, if you have read history, world history specifically, you might be aware of this. Agent Orange was a kind of a chemical that was used by the Americans during the Vietnam War. Now, the reason why the Americans used this was that when they were fighting in Vietnam, a lot of locals who were fighting against the American forces used to hide in their agricultural fields. It was very difficult for the Americans to find them out. So what the Americans did was, using their airplanes, they used to spray this chemical called Agent Orange. The idea was it will destroy the agricultural fields and it will be easier to spot the people hiding there. But what has happened is there have been so many ill effects of that Agent Orange on the local population that even today you see people with a lot of physical deformities taking birth in Vietnam. That is why Agent Orange became so prominent. So it was used mainly in the Vietnam War. Why is it in the news? Because doctor helping the victims of Agent Orange during the Vietnam War has been awarded as a Magsaysay Award that is known as a Nobel Prize of Asia. Vietnamese doctor who has been helping those victims to seek justice against the US used Agent Orange. That doctor has been recognized as the winner of the Magsaysay Award now. Moving on to question number 2. Consider the following statements. Number 1. The judgment of the Supreme Court are being translated in every language recognized by the Constitution. Now, when we say language recognized by the Constitution, what we really mean to say is the eighth schedule languages. Second, National Judicial Data Grid platform has been developed by National Informatics Center or NIC. Third, all three tiers of Indian judiciary are tracked on the NJDG portal. NJDG here is National Judicial Data Grid. Which of these given statements is or are correct? These are all about judiciary. First, Supreme Court judgments are translated to all constitutional languages. That is true. Second and third also are true. The answer here is C. All three are correct. Now, the Supreme Court over the past few years has been criticized of not being very inclusive because of the use of language and also because of the language used in the judgments. And the Supreme Court has tried to correct that. The Supreme Court Chief Justice now says that all the judgments of Supreme Court are translated into every constitutional language. Second and third are also correct. Supreme Court earlier was not a part of the NJDG portal. You could not find Supreme Court cases pending there, but now you can find even Supreme Court cases that are pending on this portal. There is this article in the Indian Express newspaper about how Chief Justice of India has called for legal education in regional languages to promote the cause of justice. Moving on to question number 3. The center plans to boost 2G ethanol production in the nation. In that context, 2G ethanol is produced from which of the following? Sugarcane, corn, rice straw, or soybean oil. Now, 2G stands for second generation. We discussed this yesterday also. The government of India is giving a push to achieve our goal of 20% ethanol blending in petrol by 2025. For that, we need to increase ethanol production. The problem with increasing ethanol production is that there are a lot of discussion and debates. Would it harm our food security? Stuff that we are supposed to eat, if that is used to consume fuel, would it harm the local people, the poor population? That is why many parts of the world have transitioned to 2G ethanol. So 2G ethanol basically is ethanol made by that product which is not consumed by humans anyway. So that is your hint. Sugarcane is obviously consumed by humans, that is first generation. Corn again first generation. Soybean oil first generation. Rice straw, it is not consumed by humans, it's anyways a waste product. So ethanol produced by that is called 2G ethanol. That is the correct answer. 2G ethanol is produced by those products which are not edible, which are not consumed by human beings. There's an article in the Hindu newspaper today. Center plans to boost 2G ethanol production, set up enzyme manufacturing facilities to reduce the imports. Next, question number 4. Consider the following statements with respect to garlic. Number 1. Sumerian clay tablets from 4,000 years ago have recipes that use garlic. Second, India is the second largest producer of garlic. Third, in Ayurveda, garlic or warm garlic infused milk, that is Lasun Shirapak, is beneficial for respiratory conditions such as asthma, cough, and common cold, and for generally improving body strength. How many of these are correct? Now, garlic is one of the most important components in Indian cuisine, in Indian cooking. A lot of Indian cuisines have garlic as an extremely important component, not just for the taste, or rather, rarely for the taste, it's mostly for the medicinal property, the health benefits that it has. With respect to that, all these three given statements are correct. The answer here is C. Also, if India is the second largest producer of garlic, do tell me in the comment section which country is the largest producer of garlic. Which country has overtaken India or is growing more garlic as compared to India? Do let me know. There's an article in today's Hindu newspaper titled The Chemical Treasury in Garlic, where all these details have been given, where the author here talks about the different varieties of garlic, the important benefits that garlic has on the human health. Next, question number 5. Consider the following statements with regards to space. Number 1. In aeronautic and astronautic circles, space begins from Van Allen line, which is 100 km above the sea level. Second, the astronauts on board the International Space Station experience zero gravity. Third, the Kármán radiation belts lie above the Van Allen line from 640 km to 58,000 kilometers up. How many of these are correct? If you remember a few days back, rather, we did have a question with regard to the Van Allen line, Van Allen radiation belt, rather. If you remember that question, you would know first and third statements are wrong. These have been interchanged. The first statement is about the Kármán line. So it is said that when what you call as space, that we are going to space, space is the region that lies beyond what you call as the Kármán line, which is 100 kilometer above the sea level. Fourth is also wrong. Fourth is actually Van Allen radiation belt. They lie above the Kármán belt. So it has to be Van Allen belt. They lie above the Kármán line. Third is also wrong. Second is also wrong. So the astronauts who are on the International Space Station experience something called microgravity, not zero gravity. So they have a very light gravity that they experience. It is called microgravity. It is not zero gravity. Please do remember. So the answer thus is D. None of these is correct because they do not experience zero gravity. So the answer here is D. There's an article in the Hindu newspaper today about the impact that extended space stay can have on astronauts. As you know, two astronauts, Sunita Williams and Barry Wilmore, are stuck in the International Space Station, and there are a lot of articles written on it. NASA is planning to bring them back as soon as possible, but there are some technical difficulties in the spacecraft. To end the session, once again, I have an important infographic for you, this time for geography. This is for your revision to revise the different types of clouds that we have. So this is an infographic which is enough for you to understand the different altitude, the shape of the clouds and their characteristics. This can be extremely important for the prelims and the mains examination. So do save this as well. If you want a PDF of these PPTs, you can join my Telegram channel. The link is in the description of the video. Thank you so much for joining. Have a good day ahead. Bye-bye. Jai Hind.